J Calderon Boxing Talk on YouTube.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy, J Calderon, Stand Clear Entertainment, and we're about to get into this week's Boxing Talk. We're going to do a recap over the fights that just took place this past weekend. First, we start off in Las Vegas with the Showdown, the rematch between James DeGale and IBF Super Middleweight Champion Truax. This was a rematch of a fight that took place last year over in England, across the pond, where Truax pulled off 12th round decision over the hometown champion in James DeGale, who won an Olympic gold medal for Great Britain and was the IBF champion at the time. One of the biggest upsets in 2017, and he was defending his title here in Las Vegas for this weekend's fight. And it was a fight that wasn't that good. It was an ugly fight, a lot of holding between both men. There was a lot of headbutt clashes that took place throughout the fight. Both men were cut over their eyes, and these men were not entertaining the fans with this fight right here. It was a very tough fight to score. Both guys really didn't dominate this fight. You know, we saw James DeGale that looked better than he did in his first fight, because that first fight he was coming off shoulder injury. He had a long layoff, and he took Truax very lightly in that first fight. This fight, he was a little bit more prepared, trying to box, but also trying to let his hands go, and he just could not deal with the style of the American fighter and Truax. Truax is an aggressive fighter. He landed that overhand right several times throughout the fight, and he was going to the body, but this was just a fight where it was just too close to call. I favored Truax. I think he did a little bit more in this fight to be able to win the decision victory on my scorecards. The judges favored James DeGale in this fight. You know, I thought it was a gift decision to James DeGale. I didn't really think that he won this fight. I had Truax winning 7 rounds to 5 on my scorecards. One of the scorecards was like 117 to 110, which was totally ridiculous. These judges, once again, putting on these bogus scorecards and favoring the fighter that's more popular in the guy like James DeGale. Nevertheless, DeGale gets the victory win. Do we really want to see a rubber match between these two? I don't really think so, but what's in store for James DeGale? This man has great opportunities for him in the UK. He's waiting for the winner of the World Boxing Super Series between UK fighters Callum and also George Groves. Now, if George Groves, who is the favorite to win that tournament, then a fight matchup, a rematch between James DeGale and George Groves is definitely in the making for a big money fight in the UK, because George Groves was the first to defeat the Olympic gold medalist in James DeGale early on in his career, and he's been wanting that rematch for quite some time to revenge that loss, and it's a great matchup. You know, James DeGale didn't look so good in this fight, and he didn't look good in his previous fight. Is he the same fighter that he once was previously? We don't really know. We have to see him against top elite fighters to really prove that he is one of the best fighters at 168 pounds. You have the other champions in the division like Gilberto Ramirez and also Davis Benavides. These guys are Mexican warriors. They're the top of the division over here in the United States, while you have the UK fighters over there like James DeGale and George Groves. You know, once the smoke clears over there in Great Britain and we see who is the top dog in the division with the unified titles, then we're going to see in 2019, most likely we have hopefully a title unification to clear all the title belts and prove who is the #1 guy at 168 pounds. But my hat's off to James DeGale for becoming a 2-time super middleweight champion and reclaiming his world title. Now, moving along to the main event of the evening, it was a unification match between 2 junior middleweight champions, Erislandy Lara, the reigning king of the division, against undefeated young champion Jarrett Hurd. This was a great fight, a fight that's already a candidate for Fight of the Year. We saw Erislandy Lara in the beginning rounds looking very sharp, landing some very quick combination punches, beautiful left hand, using the jab, controlling this fight. Early on in this fight, we saw a very slow Jarrett Hurd, who, like always, starts off his fights by falling behind on the scorecards on the first half of the fight. We saw that Jarrett Hurd, a very big junior middleweight for this division, this guy looked like a super middleweight against a smaller, older Erislandy Lara, who's going to turn 35 this weekend. There's no excuse. Lara fought a beautiful, excellent fight. Tremendous heart, the heart of a true champion, going down the stretch and finishing off this fight the way he did. Lara has been an excellent, slick boxer, a crafty fighter in there, landing his punches at will, looking in total control of this fight from early on to this fight to the middle rounds of this fight until we saw Hurd putting on that pressure, backing his man to the rope, and applying that physical strength that he has, you know, landing beautiful body work. I gotta tell you, he started the body attack from very early on into this fight, wearing down Lara, landing some uppercuts on the inside in those close quarters. There was times that I didn't really like the work that Hurd was doing on the inside, looking like he was just laying on Lara and just landing those big shots on the inside. They didn't look that effective, but they took their toll on the older fighter. Lara just was a sitting duck in round 10 through 12. We saw Lara starting to feel the effects of those punches and started to look exhausted in that ring. But he had that spirit. We saw him fighting back. We saw him not giving up in this fight and trying to make the best of it. But we saw Hurd land a beautiful left hook that dropped Lara to the canvas, and Lara got up. He was in bad trouble. You know, Hurd looked tired. He looked like he didn't have that much left in the gas tank, but Hurd had a very huge 12th round, and that basically won the fight for him. I had Lara winning 7 rounds to 4 going into the 12th and final round, and that knockdown is what pulled Jarrett Hurd into the victory circle, because 2 of the judges gave a score of 114 to 113, a 1-point margin victory for Jarrett Hurd. And I gotta tip my hats off to Hurd. I liked Hurd. I wanted him to win this fight. I also like Lara a lot. This guy has been a great champion. He's defended his title 7 times as one of the longest reigning 154-pounders in the division, but the younger, bigger, stronger fighter prevailed and won this fight. You know, I could have scored it a draw, which I believe I had scored it initially, but I don't have no problem with Jarrett Hurd winning a 1-point decision victory. I think a rematch is definitely justified because Erislandy Lara, you know, a great champion that put on a great performance, and Jarrett Hurd that won the fight, you know, fair and square. I think these guys should get it on again. I would love to see it. What's in store for Jarrett Hurd? We saw that one of the Charlo brothers was at ringside and he was calling out Jarrett Hurd, saying that he would knock him out. I think that's a great fight because both of these men are very big junior middleweights, and it's a great matchup. We know that Hurd needs to work on his defensive flaws because his defense is not that good at all. He gets hit a lot, and he gets hit very early in the fight, and he cannot allow these guys to take control of the fight so early on, because one of these days he's not going to be able to finish the fight strong, and he's going to lose badly on the scorecards. Can he beat a guy like Charlo? A lot of people favor Charlo as a very good fighter, a skillful fighter with more punching power, and this is a matchup that a lot of people want to see because they want to see a unified champion. They want to see all the belts on the line and the #1 undisputed king in the junior middleweight division. Hurd just became a unified champion and joined an elite group in that division of 154 pounds with guys like Felix Trinidad, Oscar De La Hoya, Winky Wright, and so many other great fighters in history of boxing. So my hat's off to Jarrett Hurd, an undefeated fighter, 22-0, now the WBA and IBF junior middleweight champion and the #1 guy in the division to call the shots. He is the man of the division. He is the top dog now, and I love to see a guy like this win. And in my book, he moves into the top 10 pound-for-pound list as a unified champion and an undefeated fighter. But that's my final take on the fights that took place this past weekend. I would like to thank everyone who tuned into this YouTube channel right here, J. Calderon Boxing Talk. Please hit that little red subscribe button. Put your email information in so you get all my notifications. Once I drop a new video, hit that like button, hit that share button, add comments. Also, follow me on Instagram and on Twitter and join the Facebook boxing group page, all under the same name, J. Calderon Boxing Talk. I'm J. Calderon, Stand Clear Entertainment. Thanks for your support. Keep watching and please subscribe.